What's up, guys? Welcome back to Me on the Fence. Today we're going to be talking about the album Guardians by the metalcore band August Burns Red. August Burns Red was formed in about 2003. They are from Pennsylvania. They have a total of 9 studio albums so far. They've been nominated for, I believe, 2 Grammys. And even though I said they're metalcore, they do have a lot of like death metal, deathcore, and a lot of like prog influences in their music. And all these different elements of different genres spread across all 9 of their albums. Like if you listen to 2009's release, Constellations, you'll hear a lot of thrash metal elements to it. And if you listen to Found in Faraway Places, that one has a lot of prog metal in it. It's just, they incorporate so many different things. So when they come out with a new album, you never really know what you're gonna get. And I've got to say that I was very, very excited about this album coming out, especially after hearing the singles. You can't really base a whole album off of a couple singles that a band releases, but still, I was getting so pumped and I was ready for it, and it fulfilled everything I could have ever dreamed of. And I gotta say that the production on this album is perfect. It's very crisp, it's very clear. You can hear all the instruments very well, especially the bass, which I will admit that sometimes for me, I don't really pay too much attention to the bass, so it's kind of hard for me to hear in general. And on all of August Burns Red songs and albums, I kind of look over it a lot, but on this album, you could actually hear it pretty well. And I remember reading an update on the album from one of the band members saying that this is the most time they spent at a studio working on one of their albums. And I'm not sure exactly how long it was. I want to say it was like a month. It might have been longer, but it shows. Like I said, the production is absolutely perfect. You could tell that a lot of care and a lot of attention and a lot of just a lot of effort. A lot of effort went into this production of this album, and it couldn't have been any better. And of course, being August Burns Red, their music is always next level. They always, to me at least, they always outshine almost everybody else in their genre. They also have this ability to write really crazy riffs and insane drum passages without it becoming monotonous and boring and watered down. From every single song and album that they make, there's just all this craziness, and almost feels like there's no rhyme or reason to the drum patterns, and the riffs are playing and the timing's weird. And because of that, it always sounds fresh, but then at the same time, it, like I said, it just doesn't become watered down in any of their albums. And like I said, there's just so much going on, and one thing I think that adds to the complicated sounds that they have is they have a lot of, like I said, crazy riffs and insane drum passages, but it seems like the music is always changing like every 5 measures. So even though we're in verse 1, the music has changed twice already, and it just makes it feel like there's just an unfamiliarity going into verse and chorus and verse again. A good example of this is on the song Paramount, which is probably my favorite song. There's like 5 songs on this album that are a favorite, and the other 6 are honestly equally as good. And Paramount starts out with this palm muted, echoey guitar sound in the intro, and it jumps straight into the chorus where all the sounds come together. Like even the vocals in the intro kind of are faded and they take a back seat, it feels like everything just sounds really compressed. And then all of a sudden it opens up and the guitars and the drums change just a little bit, but it still feels like it's the intro. But like I said, it just changed just a little bit, and that's all they do, is just little changes like that kind of make the songs and music more interesting. And going into verse 2, we get this kind of breakdown where we get these chugs, but then another riff comes in, which sounds almost like something we've heard before in the song, but not quite. And again, they're just changing it just a little bit, and then a guitar solo starts to play in the background while it goes into another breakdown, and that's all just in verse 2. But then when the chorus comes back around again, we have the same music being played as the first chorus, but now one of the guitar players, JB, is playing his solo in the background. And just little changes like that just make it so much more epic, but emotional at the same time. Another song that I would consider to be a favorite would be Ties That Bind, which starts out with this just very elegant, smooth sounding guitar that goes into this really groovy riff when it goes into the chorus. And it's just, I mean, you just really feel it right here, you know what I mean? They also have some awesome guitar tapping techniques going into verse 2, which then goes into a breakdown, which then goes into the bridge, which then goes into another breakdown. And this song is just very beautiful. It's very well written, and the lyrics in this song, and not just this one, but the entire album, are flawless and phenomenal. The song that comes on after Ties That Bind is Bloodletter, which is probably one of the heaviest August Burns Red songs I've heard, which feels like it incorporates a lot of deathcore. The entire song just feels like one giant breakdown. The vocals are very brutal, the guitars are very heavy, the drums has tons of double bass. And I feel like Dustin, their bass player, deserves a mention on not just this song, but this entire album, because he does have bits and pieces here and there. And his vocals are a lot more high-pitched, and they complement Jake's vocals, the main vocalist, very, very well. And I feel like on this song, I believe, unless if Jake is doing both parts, I'm pretty sure it's Dustin doing it. It's just the blend of the two, especially in this song with just how heavy the music is. Oh, it's just so good. And the whole song feels kind of dark, but then when the bridge comes along and it has this beautiful guitar harmonies and a guitar solo, it feels just so haunting, and it really brings the emotion out of the song, especially when it starts out so heavy and then it goes into like just this more smoother, just eerie feel. Then the song goes into the outro, which has a huge snare buildup going into a breakdown where it still has JB's guitar solo playing in the background, which I just love that this band does it. And they do it so well when they do a breakdown with the guitar solo or vocals coming in the background. And I would say that this song, the drums probably stuck out to me the most if it wasn't for Empty Heaven. Empty Heaven might not have the best drum passages throughout this entire album, but to me, it stuck out the most. Especially through the bridge and also going into the breakdown and the outro is like, all I could hear was the drum work going on. Like the guitar stuff and the vocals were great, but like I said, the drum work it was superb. And I have to talk about Lighthouse, because this is at least the most unique song on the album, or possibly the most unique song that August Burns Red has ever done. And the reason for that is because there's so much clean vocals and clean singing on this song, which they've done it before in the past, but it's just a little bit. But the entire chorus has clean vocals on it, which is very unusual, and it's kind of weird, not gonna lie. But the verses do have the distorted vocals in it still, which honestly, having the contrast between the two, which normally I don't like, but the way how they did it, especially with the music, it just fills the entire song with so much emotion. And the vocals in the bridge are more of a spoken word, and then halfway through the bridge, you can feel it building up, and then it just explodes, and it's in your face, and it's intense. And then it goes smoothly into the last chorus, which again has the clean vocals in it, and it's just, even though it's weird and it's unusual, they did it very, very well, which is something I can honestly say all August Burns Red fans were kind of scared that they were going to do clean vocals eventually, but I enjoyed it. They did a good job. There's a lot of really unique and extraordinary moments on this album. I especially enjoy a lot of the different rhythm patterns that they use, especially on songs like Dismembered Memory. And this goes for every song, but it became very apparent to me on Dismembered Memory just how great the guitar tone is. And I don't mean on the arpeggios that JB's playing in the background. I mean on Brent's chugs. When he's chugging and doing breakdowns, the guitar tone is just amazing. And they use a lot of different tones, but they just tiny little subtle changes. Like the guitar in Extinct by Instinct, it starts out with this very kind of zippy guitar sound. I don't know how else to explain it. Just listen to the intro and you'll know exactly what I mean. But then when it goes into the bridge of the song, the guitar has this more classical tone and vibe to it. One of my favorite things about this album and about this band in general is they do this thing where in the bridge they start playing a guitar solo, and then a heavy breakdown comes in right after the bridge where the guitar solo continues, and then it goes into the chorus where the vocals come in, and having the guitar solo and the bridge and the chorus all combined in one, it gives me goosebumps almost every single time. They do it so much, but it just doesn't become watered down, and it's epic every single time. I don't know how they manage to just make it so great every time, but they do. They do this on the song Ties That Bind, Bones, and another one of my favorites which I reviewed is Defender. They do it on that song too, and it is just absolutely perfect when they do it on that song. And last but not least, we have the closing song, Three Fountains, which I'm not sure if I would say it's atmospheric, but it's definitely the prettiest song on the whole album. It has this very mellow, kind of haunting, but at the same time peaceful intro. And the overall music on the whole song makes it feel like it's coming to an end, like it's the perfect ending song, like the end of a journey. And the chorus has this beautiful melody that slowly turns into a guitar solo. Like I said, like they always change it a little bit at a time, and the fact that there's a guitar solo now in the chorus instead of in the bridge is just a subtle change which makes a huge difference. And the guitar solo is very slow and it kind of plays in the background, but when you combine it with the phenomenal vocals and the harmonies being played with the vocals, everything just soars. And like I said, it's a great ending song. It feels like the end of a journey. With all these things combined, I gotta give Guardians by August Burns Red a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I couldn't really think of anything I didn't like about this album. I tried really hard. I tried not to sound like a fanboy, but I just couldn't do it. Some people might not enjoy the song Lighthouse just because of its clean vocals. It might stand out just a little bit too much from this album, but to me it mixed in beautifully and I loved it. But I want to know what you guys think. If you've listened to Guardians, go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what you would rate it. If you haven't listened to it yet, go ahead and give it a listen and let me know what you think. And if you have an album you want me to review, maybe your favorite band just came out with a new album or single, go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what that is also, and I will make it happen for you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notified when I do upload. That way you don't miss out. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. I was